Hi everyone, in the today video I'm going to show you how to work with JPA database. We are going to connect our Spring Boot web application to the mysql database using a Hibernate framework, and I'm going to create a simple project for you. I'll create a new project here. Okay. A new project here. You can create a project from a Spring initializer if you have installed the plugin in your ID, or you can create it from Java, that is from scratch, or you can create from Maven project. For myself, because I don't have internet connection, I'll create from Maven project, because you cannot create a from Spring initializer if you don't have internet connection. It needs internet connection to download the starter project. So I'll create from Maven because some dependencies have been downloaded in my computer. I'll call JPA as my project. JPA, then finish. Now you can see the artifact in this one. I should add, as you can see here, there is no even package in our Java project for Maven, but you are provided with this start Maven dependencies. Then I've installed Java 17 as a plugin in the IDE. Also in my computer I use Java 17. Now I have to add the configurations from our Spring Boot pom.xml file. As you can see, there is no any package in your project, so we are provided with this pom.xml file. We have to define something like final name will be this one, and I have to define packaging. That is, while building our packaging will be a job achieve, or you can define web achieve. If you are going to deploy in a Tomcat, that don't need any Java installed, that needs web achieve, you can package as a one. But if you're going to run in a computer that has Java installed and you don't need a web server, because this application has an embedded Tomcat, so you have to specify the packaging option. So something else I have to define here is the build. In the build, okay, in the build here there are some settings we have to use. We have to add the plugin. The plugin will be the group ID I reporting org.spring-framework.boot here, and the Spring Boot start parent will be our plugin. Not. I don't need to put the version here because I'll put in the parent Spring Boot Maven plugin. I'll put the parent for fetching dependencies. parent org.spring framework.boot spring boot start parent. I'll select this one because I don't have internet connection and the dependencies for this one were previously downloaded in my computer, so I'll use this version. If you have internet connection, you can select any version or even the latest version. We have also to specify some. We have to define the dependency management. I'll put here in Spring Boot Start Web. This is Spring Boot Start Web. We add the dependencies for a web application, and an embedded Tomcat will be downloaded. I have put another because you are going to create Spring Boot Data JPA. I will define this one and this. Okay, here we don't put the version because we define the parent here. That is everything defined in the dependency without the version. Then you will fetch the version from this one as original dependency for it. But you can put the dependency for, you can put the version for some dependency if you need, for instance, if you need to use a certain version. Here I have to put also as mysql. So now I've put the dependency for mysql driver here, this one. Also I put the dependency for this API, Java persistent API, and I'm using mysql and it's my database. If you are going to use, for instance, you're going to use H2 database, and this you have to put H2. If you are going to use H2, it is H2. H2 database. This is a runtime database. When you kill your application, this application also is killed. For now, I'm not going to do this one. I'll show you in the next video how to use H2 database. So now I will reload this novel in order to download for the dependencies. Now the download has been successful. The file has been scanned. You can see this PSP keyboard novel plugin. You can remove this if you don't get the latest or the thing that is correct with this one. Now I am going to add a package that is com.mb text. JPA. Because my project is JPA, I have to add the project like this one, and in the JPA I have to add new class. This class I call JPA, and in this JPA I'll put the main method. In the main method I'll annotate to be a Spring Boot application, and in the Spring Boot application I have to put Spring application. I have to call this method run, and I put the class JPA.class, then arguments, about the arguments. Now when I run in my application, it will run this JPA class as a Spring Boot. That's why I'm telling. For testing purpose, I use a command line run. I implement this command line run. Command line run, and once I implement this, I have to override the method control O, and this one I am going to override it. In this one I am going to shout error already. To test for working our application, I'll print error. Before I have not added here the configuration. The IntelliJ IDE provide a simple way to run your application that contains main method. You can click on this, even this one where I run JPA main method, or I can run everything. If you click on the done, then the configuration will be added automatically. So you don't need to space to add the configuration. Now our application is running. You can see a bunch of errors. If you need to configure data sets or in the data sets could be configured. Okay. We have added the dependencies for mysql, but it didn't add the properties for connecting with mysql. We have to create a application.properties file here. Application.properties. In this file you add a conversion. For instance, I put the server.port to be default port. I put the spring dot my spring dot data dot spring dot data source dot name. Put the name of your spring username, password. If you are not sure with the database name, you don't need to put this one. I recommend it for now. Now we have to put you have to put JDBC Java database connectivity colon mysql. The link is local host. The port is 626060 and the database is JPA. This is a schema and I have specified. Now let me try to run again. Even now we have some errors. The server is the driver has not received any packet. If you see this error, that is the driver has not received any packet, the packet will send to the server. It means our mysql server is not started. I'm going to start my example. If you have installed any mysql application, you have to run it. Now I have to run this. After I see this port is running and we have defined it in our configuration, then now this port we have to run again. Even now I can see there is errors. That is this one, unknown database JPA. We have defined the link to our mysql server and this is a database, but we have not created any database on our server. How can we run command unknown database JPA? This is an SQL syntax error. SQL syntax error exception, unknown database JPA. Okay. You have to create database with any method. You can create with command. For instance, I'm going to my SQL access denied for user. No, using password no. Okay. You root p. Okay. Show databases. If on our syntax analysis, check very much good usually show. Okay. It is show database. You can see my database. I have to create database JPA. Database JPA. You can see now my database have been created JPA. This one. Now we are not going to get the error again. Because our application is now accessing here. Okay, you can see a arrow right now have been sorted in our table. So now we are going to create table in our database. You don't need to create table from this command line or from PHP myadmin web page. you can create a table using this API, Java Processing API. Here we have to create something called an entity, and in that entity you can define the table name, or you can leave it default, but the name of the class is going to be the name of the table. Okay, I'll create a, let me create another package called database, and in this database I create an entity called user, and in this user I'll annotate this user as entity. If you need to give the different name of the table, you can define the table name user. But if you don't define this table, then that database called user is going to be created automatically. Now I have to define to set a constructor, the constructor that takes nothing. And in this I have to specify an ID, this ID will be our primary key of the table user, and this ID will be generated automatically. In the user I put string private string name. If it is an email, you can say if you are going to tell your database that it is an email, you have to put an annotation here. For instance, in my database I want this one to be known as with different column. I define the column name. I put the column name here, that name. You can define as main. You can put if it's going to be unique or nullable, or is it update column definition table. In the column definition you can define all of this. You can specify the table that is going to be from. Also here I will specify if it's what is the version. Okay, let me define another constructor set that will take it, but we don't need this ID if we are going to create a put another one. Okay, that taking no ID. This one you are going to create in the insert that in the database, because ID is, I will leave this because ID is created automatically. It's going to be created automatic, so I will leave this one. Now we have already defined our database. In order to access this database, we have to create a class that is going to access into database, and this class will be an interface, and this will be a repository. Our name is user repo. This will extends JPA repository. In the JPA repository, we have to define the class that is user dot class, and we specify the ID as long in data type. You can, the default method that come with this repository, once we extend this one, are the delete. We have delete all, we have save method, and in the save we pass an entity. That is method are defined by the framework or by the API, so we don't need to define. If you want to define a custom method like let's say string, let's say user get user by ID. In the get user by ID, we pass the wrong ID. The API will solve automatic and will return a user with a given ID. If we need to get user by ID and name, we have to put it in name. Then you provide the name here, string name. I mean, this method is not implemented because it is within an interface, and this is implemented automatically by the framework, so we don't need to implement it. Otherwise, if you are defining a query method, now I have to create user. I have to create user with name and email. My email at mbtext.com. There is Mbo here, my friend. There is Mosquito here. That way I will see Markovs. Now I've created a user. I know I want to save this in. database. Okay. Right. Because this Spring Framework provide a method to inject dependencies. Is this annotation autowired? In the autowired, I want to inject dependencies user repository. You don't want the not applicable, not to local variable. Okay, I'll move this outside, and I'll use this user repository to save user repository dot save. In the save we pass an entity called user, because we defined this user as an entity. Okay, we can try to save at runtime. It means there is no such database. Even if we show databases, show table, you can see there is no table in our database JPA. It means the table have not been created. You have to define the data definition here. It says Spring JPA dot properties Kubernetes. Data definition. There is 3 options here. There is a create, there is a create drop, and there is update. So you have to choose whatever the case. For in my case, if I want every time when I run my application, a database is dropped and a new database table is created, I will put it create and drop. After defining this data definition, then the Spring Boot application is going to create database automatically. You can see now what is started. If we try to run for the second time, short database, you can see database have an sequence user, and this database which was complained that it has not been created now is created, and this was forcing the table user to be not created. So after this one have been created, we force this one to be created. Then if I use say describe table, so use, you can see a user with ID, email, background, this one, primary key. Okay, now you can see table have been created. Let's say I want to, because I've saved an instance user with name Mabula and email this word. I want to show it in my database. Selecting from user. You can see in the user there is this my email and the name this one. If I try to insert another thing, if I want, for instance, if I want to update this user, I'll first find the user from the table and then update. For instance, I want to update the name. I'll save up. Let me add some method here to get user get user by name. String name. Now after I've given the method to be defined by the API, I call this method here user1 equal to get repository to get user by ID and name, replace to get user by name. Okay, this one Mabula. Now I get this user. Then if I try to sort user1 dot get email, you can see I get email of me. Now I want to update again the user1 dot set email equal to 230 text.com. Now I save for the second time. User repository dot save this user1. Now I'll try to sort again. Sort user1 dot get email user1 equal to you can see now sort this one. This is email, the first email, and this is the second email after I have updated the user. Okay, even this is a tutorial on how to update data in the JPA database using the save method. If you don't call this get method in the repository, then you will not be able to update the user, because if you want to update the user without an ID, it's not going to be updated. You have to get first the user ID and you update the user with this save method. So this save method provides two advantages. Thanks for watching, my friends.